court will come to order, I'll have the room cleared. Mr. Caudry, may I see that note, please?
Well, sure.
Your Honor, this is highly irregular. If it pleases the court,
Mr. Drinkwater, I realize that this entire case has been conducted in a highly irregular manner. But this is a court of justice as well as a court of law. Please remember that.
That's telling him, Judge.
Mr. Caudry, why wasn't this evidence presented before?
Well, because I don't believe it. Tom Marley didn't commit suicide. He was murdered.
You mean this note is a forgery?
No, he wrote it all right, but he didn't commit suicide. I'm sure of that.
Was this telephone number written by Mr. Marley?
I guess so. It's always been there.
Bailiff, I want this telephone number checked immediately.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, if you'll just let me call a couple of witnesses, I can clear up a lot of this stuff.
Call your witnesses.
Thank you very much. Richard Brenner, it's my first witness.
Richard Brenner to the stand.
Go ahead. They're calling you.
Okay, Butch, now let's start straightening out a few things.
All right.
May I have that note a second, please, Your Honor? Thank you very much. Marley was just about your best friend, wasn't he?
That's right.
You've seen a lot of his handwriting and signatures, haven't you?
Quite a few times.
Would you say Marley wrote that note?
Either Tom Marley wrote that note or it's a wonderful piece of forgery.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. You're a pal. Now, there's one more question, and I think we can clear up this point. Was Tom Marley left-handed or right-handed?
Let me see. I think he was left-handed. Yeah, I'm sure of it. Yes, he was left-handed.
You're sure he was left-handed? Your Honor, that's what gave me the original lead to the fact that Tom Marley was murdered. You see, there was a photograph in a paper showing him as a southpaw pitcher on a high school baseball team. He was left-handed. But if you look at the coroner's report, you'll see that the bullet that killed Tom Marley was in the right temple. Don't you see, Your Honor? There's something screwy there. Marley did write the suicide note, but he couldn't have shot himself because the bullet was on the wrong side of the head.
Pardon me, I hate to interrupt such a brilliant piece of reasoning, but do you mind if I return to my seat?
I object.
Objection sustained.
Are you kidding? Your Honor, here's the picture as I see it. Marley is home in his apartment, and he gets a visit from a fella dressed the same way as I am now. Now, there's an argument, and the stranger puts the gun to Marley's head and forces him to sign a suicide note. Marley writes the note, trying to stall as long as he can, because he's got a gun in his drawer, and he keeps hoping that he can use it before being shot himself. He finishes the note, and then he goes for the gun, but before he can pull the trigger, he's shot in the right temple. And now, as Marley is falling, he pulls the trigger of his own gun, and the shot goes wild. Now, there's a cuckoo clock in Marley's apartment, and the cuckoo has no head. Your Honor, I dug this bullet out of the back of the clock. And I think that your experts will agree that it came from Marley's gun.
Your Honor, this whole thing has very little bearing on the case. Caudry admits that Mr. Marley was murdered, and nothing that he has said so far would indicate that Marley was murdered by anyone but the defendant.
Is that so? Well, if you'll only keep quiet for just a couple of minutes, I'll show you who killed Tom Marley. Is that all right, Your Honor?
Continue, Mr. Caudry.
All right. Now, Marley's gun disappeared right after the murder and showed up in his office. Now, I took it away from Lauren, and whoever committed the murder didn't like the idea. Now, the whole thing adds up except for one little thing. And it's as plain as the nose on your face that one of Marley's partners committed the murder, but I don't know which one.
Your Honor, I object. This entire thing is ridiculous.
I'm inclined to agree with the district attorney, Mr. Caudry, unless you can be more definite in your accusations.
I'm trying to. Now, look, there are three of them. Lauren, Kroll, and Brenner. Lauren had the gun and the money, but it doesn't make sense that a little squirt like that is going to kill anybody. He'd be too scared. Kroll and Brenner are the logical ones, but I can't prove it.
On that telephone number, Your Honor, it's a Chinese laundry. They never heard of Marley.
Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Caudry, I'm afraid that...
I got it. I know who did it. What a dope. Give me that number.
Mr. Caudry.
I need a phone. A dial phone. Where's there a phone?
Right over there.
The solution's been here all the time. Marley wrote it on the suicide note. What, Your Honor? The telephone number was Bradford 36637. Now, Your Honor, on all dial telephones, A, B, and C is 2. D, E, F is 3. G, H, I is 4. J, K, L is 5.
Your Honor, if it please the court...
One moment, Mr. Drinkwater. This may be the final outburst.
Look, Bradford 36637. Now, while Marley was trying to stall the killer, he put those numbers down, but they weren't telephone numbers. It's the message that tells us exactly who the murderer is. It's the simplest code you ever saw right off the telephone dial. Marley used the middle letter of each section, like 3. Now, 3 on the dial is DEF. You take the middle letter, put it under the 3, and you've got an E. You do the same with the rest of the numbers, like 6. Now, 6 on the dial is MNO. Take the middle letter there, you've got an N. Do the same with the other 6, you've got another N. Do the same with the other 3, you've got an E once again. The 7, you've got an R. Then you add the first 2 letters of the exchange. Marley put the finger on the murderer before he died. Brenner.